Before 30, money feels distant. Not unimportant, but distant. There's always a feeling that real financial life will start later, after a better job, after stability, after you figure things out. But money doesn't wait for clarity. It reacts to habits, and habits formed before 30 quietly shape everything that comes after. One of the earliest money rules to understand is that earning more does not automatically fix money problems. In fact, for many people, earning more makes them worse. As income increases, spending often increases even faster. Bigger apartments, nicer cars, frequent eating out, subscriptions you barely use. The lifestyle expands, but financial peace stays the same or even disappears. This is why many high earners still live paycheck to paycheck. The rule here is simple but uncomfortable. If you can't manage a small income, a bigger one won't save you. Another rule most people learn too late is that time is the real advantage, not intelligence. Money invested early doesn't grow because you're smart. It grows because it has time. Compounding is slow in the beginning, almost boring. That's why people ignore it. But over years, that slow growth turns powerful. Starting early allows money to work without pressure. Starting late forces you to chase returns and take risks you didn't need to take. Before 30, debt often feels normal. Everyone has it. Credit cards, car payments, student loans. The problem is not just the debt itself, but how it trains your thinking. Debt makes future income feel already spent. It reduces flexibility. It limits choices. You might want to change careers, start a business, or take time off, but debt quietly says no. The rule here isn't never use debt. It's understanding that every loan is a claim on your future freedom. Emergency money is another lesson people underestimate until life forces them to learn it. Most financial disasters aren't dramatic. They're small events happening at the wrong time. A medical bill, a job loss, a family responsibility. Without emergency savings, people rely on credit, stress, or bad decisions. An emergency fund doesn't make you wealthy, but it protects your progress. It gives you space to think instead of panic. Before 30, many people treat saving as optional, something they'll do when life becomes easier. But life rarely becomes easier on its own. Saving works best when it's automatic and boring. When you save first and live on what's left, discipline becomes invisible. When you try to save what's left after spending, there's usually nothing left. Another powerful rule is understanding that money is deeply emotional. People don't overspend because they're bad at math. They overspend because money becomes a reward, a comfort, or a way to cope. Stress spending, celebration spending, comparison spending, these patterns silently damage finances. Learning to pause before spending is not about denial, it's about awareness. Asking why you want to buy something often matters more than whether you can afford it. Status is one of the most expensive traps before 30. The pressure to look successful is intense. Cars, clothes, gadgets, lifestyle choices, all designed to signal progress. But most status items lose value quickly while locking you into ongoing costs. Real wealth is rarely visible. It grows quietly, without validation. The rule here is uncomfortable but powerful. The less you try to look rich, the easier it becomes to build actual wealth. Understanding opportunity cost is another rule that changes everything. Every dollar you spend is choosing one future over another. When you buy something, you're not just paying money, you're giving up what that money could have become. Thinking this way doesn't kill enjoyment, it creates intentional enjoyment. You spend with clarity instead of impulse. Before 30 is also the best time to invest in yourself. Skills increase income faster than almost anything else. Learning how money works, how businesses operate, how markets function, these skills compound just like investments. Markets rise and fall, but valuable skills stay with you. Another critical rule is patience. Financial progress is slow at first, painfully slow. This is where most people quit. They don't see results, so they stop. But consistency is what creates momentum. The people who look lucky later are usually the ones who stayed disciplined when results were invisible. Money should buy options, not pressure. The goal isn't luxury, it's control. Control over your time, control over your choices, control over how you respond when life changes. Before 30, understanding this shifts priorities completely. Instead of chasing more, you start protecting freedom. Perfection is not required. You will make mistakes. Everyone does. The real rule is learning quickly and not repeating the same mistakes for years. Small improvements matter more than dramatic changes. If you learn these money rules before 30, you don't guarantee wealth, but you drastically reduce regret. You reduce stress, you increase flexibility, and you give your future self something incredibly rare: options. Your 20s are not about having everything figured out. They're about building habits that make the future easier instead of harder. Money doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be consistent. And consistency applied early quietly changes everything.